Okay, it's late, so let's shh. Okay, yesterday we started talking about the meal on Sukkot. So let's talk a little bit about the dinam of Leisha Basukah. When do you make a Leisha Basukah for during the duration of the rest of Sukkot, and when don't you? So bottom line is that the only time you make a bracha Leisha Basukah if you eat, practically speaking, what's called a kibetza, meaning 2 ounces of cake or 2 ounces of bread, or you're making havdalah in the sukkah or a mitzvah like that in the sukkah, so then you make a leisha basukah. But if somebody is not eating that amount of food, then you can't make a leisha basukah. Like we learned the other day, our custom is we don't even drink water outside the sukkah. We don't even drink water. We don't even drink water outside of a sukkah, but you only make a leisha basukah if you're eating 2 ounces of bread or 2 ounces of cake. So technically somebody can have a full dinner, they can have fish and salad, and they can have soup, and they can have meat and potatoes, and they can have ice cream for dessert, and still they have to eat it, they should eat it in the sukkah, but you can't make a leisha basukah, because you're not obligated to eat in the sukkah. The only time you're obligated that you must go into the sukkah 2 ounces of cake and 2 ounces of bread. Now what happens if somebody leaves the sukkah? I'm talking about now during the Chol Hamoed, or even the first days of Yom Tov. You ate in the sukkah breakfast, and then you know that you're going to be eating lunch in the sukkah. And both times you're going to be washing with bread or cake that you would be making leisha basukah. So the din is as follows. If, when I leave the sukkah, I know I will be back within an hour or 2, then if I come back, I don't make a leisha basukah. If it's going to be more than 2 hours, let's say you eat breakfast at 9, finish eating breakfast at 9, and now at 1 o'clock you're going to eat lunch, so it's more than 1 or 2 hours, so then you have to make a new leisha basukah, even though you knew that you were going to come back later to the sukkah. But after 1 or 2 hours, it's considered like a new eating, and you have to make a new bracha. What happens if somebody eats in the sukkah, and they leave the sukkah, and they intend, that's it, I'm not coming back now for a while. You know, they leave the sukkah, and all of a sudden a friend pops in, and says, hey, let's go into the sukkah, we'll have a fabrengen. So now you're going to be having more cake, another 2 ounces of cake, let's say. So then you're going to have to make a new leisha basukah, even if it's 5 minutes later. Why? Because when you left the sukkah, in your mind, that's it was over. So the first leisha basukah bracha is now out, it's finished. So if you had in mind you're coming back, it's up to 1 or 2 hours. If when you leave the sukkah, you have in mind, I'm not coming back for a while, then even if you come back, you change your mind, you come back 5 minutes later, you have to make a new leisha basukah. What? Because that's called a kviyas. That's called an established amount, is a kibetza. Like Shabbos meal, you need to eat 2 ounces of bread. To wash in the tilas yadayim with a bracha, you need to eat 2 ounces of bread. You could bench, but that's nothing to do with the bracha leisha basukah. There's a kazayis that fills you up enough to bench, but there's what's called a kviyas to be able to make al nutilas yadayim. Kazayis is 1 ounce, whatever that is in grams. Yeah. It's not a lot, by the way. Take a regular Danish, is 2 ounces of cake. If you don't want, then you eat it without a leisha basukah. What happens if somebody's going to wash and they know they're not going to eat 2 ounces of challah? So halachically you wash with and don't make and only tells you dime. That's it. Now what happens if somebody went into the sukkah, they're eating bread or cake, and then they realize they didn't make a leisha basukah yet. They forgot to make a leisha basukah. So the din is, as long as you're still sitting in the sukkah, and you originally ate enough that would demand a leisha basukah, and you're still sitting in the sukkah, you still make a leisha basukah. Even if you finished eating already. Even if you finished eating, and you're still just, sitting in the sukkah, hanging out in the sukkah, like they say. and you realize you didn't make a leisha basukkah, you still make a leisha basukkah because it's just sitting in the sukkah is a mitzvah, and it's still one continuation that you ate enough, and therefore you would make a leisha basukkah. What happens, the last din for today, what happens if somebody is in their own sukkah, they made a leisha basukkah. Now they have what's called sukkah hopping. I'm going to go to your house, and to your sukkah, to his sukkah, and that. I'm going to go to different sukkahs. So the din is, if I eat 2 ounces of cake in each sukkah, I have to make a new leisha basukkah in each sukkah. I made a bracha, and I knew I'm going to go to your house, and your house, and your house, but it's a different sukkah. If it's a different sukkah, you need to make a new bracha leisha basukkah, providing you eat enough that would demand a leisha basukkah. So that's in a nutshell, the dinim of leisha basukkah. Again, you only make a leisha basukkah on 2 ounces of cake or 2 ounces of bread. Or let's say you go into the sukkah to make havdalah. So then our minig is, and the Rebbe was very emphatic about it, you make a leisha basukkah because the mitzvah makes it an established thing.